fucked up the other video, but this here, I believe, is the hologram. Let's just move twist around. It's kind of like a fucking alien, but it's just kind of a piece of foil. Or maybe I'm completely mistaken, because I am high as fuck. Not really. He was a minute ago. Been up a long time. I've been there. Oh my god, I've done this shit before. I remember this. I've actually done this. This specific scene. I've been here. But I didn't record it. You think I'd remember that shit like this, but I've done a few times. These could be YouTubers for all I know. Some random people. Because celebrities even doing some weird shit. But now I remember more clearly I've actually done it. Now, let's see. No people. And no people. Somebody said, ow, disrespect over there. You gotta go, it's on the song. I guess I'll walk around and check things out a little. But I just wanted you to know some things that I felt like I was entitled to know when I was younger, and not some stupid bullshit like, oh, that's never happened to me. And how things not happening, you be other people's bitch instead of like, I have rights. You cannot do this. Things will work out. They will not necessarily, especially if you goofed like I did. You refuse to believe that the power of the law is something that can simply be taken, stolen away from you for impersonal reasons. And somebody just, like a cop, taking that serious. A lot of people say I was very stupid for doing things like, not testing limits, but you call it bragging out, I suppose. Different people here. I looked at it. And just knowing otherwise about our legal system, knowing, frankly, what amounts to a hell of a lot more than I must have thought I had 30 law degrees, because I knew and know absolutely fuck all about the legal system. And it certainly is not a legal system of the United States of America. One in which the things that are written about it are in any way the truth. And this can happen very publicly, or in my case, extremely publicly. And one of the reasons you keep lashing out is because somebody's not going to do what you expect the person to do. I got some more dudes here. But hopefully there's not some special trick where it doesn't show up on camera. I'm really, whoa. They're all over this campus here. Even holograms. I know it's been a long time. I'm nearly 40, so it's been a long time since. It's just love browsing the internet and looking up new things about technology and stuff. I don't know how many people know that holograms are real. I think this guy just stopped. I don't know. And fuck go. I just don't fucking up their project of Hollywood. Fuck it. But that tends to be the theme. It's just leave. That's a confusion between a state line, a city, an area. I've been told to leave the country by these people. And this has to do with moving to Nevada, right? So I was a drunk for a long time. I still kind of am. But in Nevada, you can drink legally. I'm homeless. You can drink legally outside, and I'm not allowed to do that. That's not allowed. People don't talk to me like they do tend to talk to me like I'm a human being, which is a lot most of the time. A lot of the time they do not. Like, and that's it. And when they do, they've already been spoken to, is my opinion. Like it was an efficient meeting. This is so, you can imagine that these are all more people over there. Like just in this vicinity, possibly hundreds and hundreds of volunteers of things. Or so he said, yep, over here, just here, wearing a policeman, and one that's not so, not so ashamed of her corruption, or their corruption, will do things like just ask if people will help break the law against somebody. Somebody said, shut the hell up over there. Again, gaslighting. She said, face it too. That face it does not have an answer, ultimately. You're kind of left in the dark about what to do, where to go, shit like that. There's a dude. I think we've seen that dude. So these guys, they look like bangers. One of the other things is the easiest way really to break the laws of a policeman starts out with getting criminals to gang up on criminal. I'm criminal, I'm not criminals. We'll get your dudes out. Or some shit like that, and you're not in trouble. Gang, I guess. Now, some of these things, even if you're like breaking the law, or like getting more harassment, say them, would make the average person far too uncomfortable. I don't know how they'd behave. I, on the other hand, behave differently. But in any case, what was I saying? Gang. Fuck. You just get ganged up on it, but it starts out kind of like, you can imagine, this might frighten you, obviously, a lot of people, but you feel like, for me, this started out in a way that not in any ways was dark and intimidating. In no way, alright? Because the law was real, it applied, and this is just bullshit. It certainly wouldn't climax in me being told very frankly by many people that my home will be broken into and my restrooms will be filmed and things of this nature. So you might be wondering, well, Jesus, Colin, how fucking bad did it get? Well, here's the main thing about the gangstalking. And from my perspective, whereas I wouldn't expect most people to behave this way, even in the long term, you feel like it couldn't be an entire smoke screen of secrecy from everyone around you, even if you're like a loner like me. The main thing is just a constant connecting with the people around you by law enforcement and these other, I don't know if they're volunteers or other things, and getting groups of people against you, which in my case it kind of turned into, let's be very frank here, I've already talked about it maybe on my channel, but it turned from masturbating in my car outside on meth to doing it inside, and it being a get scared straight program I was convinced of, and they kind of threw at me. They deny that now, but it's into my cop over there, she left because it's part of the routine now. Like, what are you talking about? Things constantly evolve and they kind of like plateau into other things, for me, I'm like, well, where does this end? Because I demand the law, and like things are unfair, and I'd feel more unsafe, really, if it was all illusion. Like, it's totally crazy to me. Turns out it can be, and it's not because of shadowy organization. Basic cops do have these Gangstalking units. They're like in separate buildings. I actually signed a paper when I was younger because I took a lot of Robitussin, and it was, that's dumb, it's cough medicine. But my grandfather was like, I'm not going to pay for college unless you sign this paper. I signed a paper. A woman came into my class, asked me like 3 or 4 questions. That was it. I did a 1-day class. It was a crime investigation class in which we took these pictures, the presumption being which it was to teach us something about crime. I was like, this is weird and easy. Later on, what I found out is that this is when I did what I spoke of. I was taken into a room. I was arrested. Well, I'm not going to go through the whole story, but after a little run around with this group of strangers in this community that I was locked into, and they were kind of screwing with me, and I was like, okay, this is what it is. I'll just do it. This should happen. I finally get arrested. I'm in the cop car. The rear view window is showing the opening credits of House with the Little Baby, and that music, because I said it was my favorite TV show. That was one of the questions I was asked. I was like, these are weird questions, and I had to do this paper I didn't even read. I was like, okay. Or I couldn't finish college. And I'm talking about 6 or 7 years ago by, something like that. I can't remember exactly, because I was memory drugged. I know this sounds insane, but I was partying. Basically, I get driven down there. We go into the lockup area. I sit down. The other people seem to have been coached already on who I am, and they're catcalling me. On the video screen is this class video of it, where it's kind of weird. It's kind of dumb, but they're basically still photos, one after the other, where it looks like in the course of this like 1-day class or few hour class, I pulled a gun off a wall and shot this dude down, and just playing on the wall. So basically, I've been in this database kind of thing, like it's an institutionalized wing of being a policeman, and we're actively like researching, practicing is how cops can commit crimes on us if they want to. Which, you could call that no surprise a surprise. But this is back, I left high school, graduated 2004, 2005, I was a freshman. That was the time when I talked to this woman. So it's 2005, like 20 years. I've been in some kind of database where people might be coming around even, maybe stuff like that. And so my cop's down there somewhere. I can hear her. She's masturbating in front of other people. But to get to the other part of the story, I would still take meth, but I'd go into private. If I wanted to masturbate, I'd do it inside. And I was like, because that's not like a kink I have. It's just some shit that happened. After it becomes a get scared straight program type thing, I finally go to jail because I punched my father's window. I got a felony DV, felony terrorist threats. I'd already gotten into a little bit of trouble, and I knew that the drug addicts there who were feeding me drugs, or I was being directed to, it was constantly a suspicious thing, in which I'd also kind of get shamed outside. People would groups of people walk by talking shit, and it would piss me off at the time. It wasn't something that I was kind of really angry about, which kind of pushed me even further into just continuing to do drugs. You can't do this. I'm younger. You can't just stalk and harass me like this. I have an opportunity just by default to get back somewhere close to the groove of life I was in. But I knew they were like sus eventually. This is the huge debate for everybody, and if anybody's listening who's here, and there's definitely people on the phone, this is the huge difference between the ghetto logic that makes gangstalking possible and real, and my middle class white American logic is those are the rats. You're feeding me drugs. Sure, I'll take them. I want to get fucking high. You're the asshole. Far and away, every one of these motherfuckers is on the absolute other side. That is a big rule. Doesn't matter if they're the one that's trying to fuck you, you're the one trying to fuck them. I mean, you know, and that's it. I'm not sure how they're. I don't want to guess if I had too many details. But like, fuck that, I'm using these drugs. And it was the police actually who got me addicted to hard drugs, methamphetamine. I was a drunk driver. I'd gotten fired. I moved to Riverside, California. The community was somewhere on Orange Street where they used these kind of holograms. They were imps to screw with me. And the thing, so and these guys are moving at me, like looking at me, right? Like they responded to how I turned. I think that guy's signaling I should fucking run. Also, again, so I left California to Nevada, and they followed me all the way there. It was another, like, I guess I'm a fucking retard. Like, if you're nefarious and corrupt enough, I guess it's insane to me that people just continue. Like, that is the first time I lived in Nevada. But I remembered, so as I was arrested and I'm getting detained, and all these things are happening a second time. And I guess I did the same damn thing and went to the same damn places by some kind of like muscle memory or something. Or maybe it was being guided there. I was drunk, Trevor. This is the first instance I remember. And I'm running around driving drunk. I could never get a deal. I never really tried. That was never my thing. I'm not just like sociable like that, or savvy in the hood ways. Somebody just wakes me up. I don't even know what a drug dealer looks like or what to look for. He wakes me up, says, you should probably want some drugs. I don't think that's pretty much normal. It's only happened once, and the one time that it happened, I didn't know what to do because I believed I'd never used it before. And that was crystal meth. I think I bought about $20 worth. Put it in my glove compartment, the armrest, and just left it there for a few days. Didn't know when I was going to use it, if I was going to use it even. I'm not sure how I was going to take to it. I was an alcohol guy. Pretty girl shows up in the pouring rain, sits right in front of my car. She likes meth. She has a couple things to say. She wants to suck my cock, and also people screw with her, and it's perfectly normal to get screwed with. And this is you kind of get groomed into it too. It's like you have to make a decision about your feelings about justice, ultimately, from my view, and what's possible and impossible, and like what's realistic and unrealistic. And while you're kind of being coached into this acceptance of this is the way that things work. This guy said over here, bro, I'm not a pussy. So I guess that I'll go rule number one. The street logic is kind of how if this approaches you, and I don't know, I guess half of the world knows that already. Like, they're not trying to fuck you. You have to accept it, even though they are technically trying to fuck you. You're gonna fuck them or some shit like that. I called rule number one. The other dude over here said, bro, I'm not a pussy. I've been called a pussy more than anybody who's ever lived in this fucking country, probably. This guy said something, but about being a pussy. But number two, I'd go with don't ever let people call you a pussy. When I was, these drug addicts were giving me stuff, and they're like, I didn't assume all of them were dirty, but they all were, and they were all dirty toward me. I didn't since the incident, I haven't probably met a single person, I believe now, that hasn't been made aware and coached on what to do with me and is perfectly willing to cooperate. And I do genuinely have a strong feeling in that direction. And it has to do with these, in my personal view, sort of dichotomous beliefs about justice versus like a surrender or like escape. Is this okay, or do you just deal, right? Maybe justice for survival. I don't know what you want to call it. Justice for the hood, or whatever the fuck. But after this incident, I had started to remember things. I had been already arrested, been through the same gauntlet of a thing somewhere on Orange Street in Riverside County. It's like I think there are a bunch of cops in this, like a gated community. And basically, what happens is I go back to where I used to live, Temecula, because I was driving around homeless, and started living back there. Or my father says this is actually Marietta. I don't live there any longer. But basically, the next thing that happens is a guy comes towards me and starts asking drugs. Again, super random. And I'm like, well, that's lucky, because I guess I'm retarded. But means we're all right, pussy, right? Huh? We don't actually have to be all right. Like, doesn't mean you fucking have to follow me. But here, I'll throw this at you. Yes, it does seem like they have to follow you, or they think they do, or they want to. And it's just everyone and your mother, which I'll get into. But the other thing that happens, there's a pretty girl sat down in front of my car in the pouring rain. She's just like freezing, just sitting there staring at me, like I guess waiting for me to say something. She didn't, or I didn't. So she came in and said, "Can I sit?" Offered her to sit below me, told me what to expect. Then she wants to show me how to use crystal meth. So these are all red flags that I have no prior understanding at this time of what that should mean, though. I wouldn't know. It seems like a series of incidents, not even luck, just not even incidents. I wouldn't even call it anything. I'd be like, huh. But I do my thing. Apparently it's like all in the same places and same buildings, though I have no memory of it. The first time, and when I go to jail, I don't know if it was when I was in jail or go back to Temecula. At some point in time, I started to remember that I'd been to this place before, and I remembered how and why I forgot. Which this part is going to seem terrifying. I went to a nurse's office because I was flipping out. I was a young guy and I was like, I don't know what's going on. This shit's weird. It's freaking me out. There's this black nurse and she's like, "What do you want a shot?" She's being very condescending. "What do you want a shot? What do you want a shot?" "I don't know, it does this and that. You'll do what you needed to do." And I don't remember what I was saying. So I don't remember what it was that she was implying that it needed to do something like that. But it wasn't like, I remember it wasn't like on-label instruction, like what you expect from a drug. So I'm like, okay, do it if this is what I have to do. She pokes me with it, and then she laughs at the other counselors. I'd never do that, which is kind of a very terrifying thing for a nurse to say, especially in a precinct, and your first time being in a precinct. But it turned out that in the syringe somewhere was a memory drug, and I forgot all this shit for fucking years. One of the things I do remember from that very first incident is my mom and I went back to this area. And my mom went to this antique shop. Behind that antique shop, which is the same place I stopped my car, and I think predominantly my own volition, not even, like I wasn't even being encouraged. This dumpster, to throw all the meth that I had bought into the dumpster. And there's an antique shop there. So my mom wants to go back down, take me to this antique shop, whatever, maybe food or something like that. And I don't remember this antique shop. She's like, do you remember being here before? And I'm like, no. And I go inside, the antique dealer says, you cannot be here. So I was like, okay, like sort of like shyly, and walked out and sat down and waited for my mother. Didn't really ask any questions. And that kind of flooded back too. I'm like I've been to a lot of places I don't remember. Like, I don't know if it's months, or maybe even years, I forgot, because this woman in a uniform, as an oath born, bearing police officer, or like a nurse in a precinct, just kind of laughingly just blew part of my chemical brain matter away. And why do that? Because they could fuck with you like that all over again. For sport. Maybe in a rationalized sense, they're teaching you a lesson. It's for sport. It's to create power. Like, look at all these people. Look at him just go ignoring. He's, obviously knows. But look at all the people you can control and all the power you get. There's a wide assumption here. That's obvious. Just that easy not to use meth, secret place. Ask people questions, or do you want to participate in something? Kind of like on the deal. Get a bunch of people to do that. Now you have an army. The cops use it with meth, and probably and other street drugs. This guy calls me a chicken. I don't know what that exactly refers to. I guess just call me a chicken. Now we're in this little store. All of these memories come flooding back. I have seen that house video in the rearview window. I have been to that Orange Street gated community, and basically they told me, drive around my car, press my stereo in 2 different buttons, and it was basically, I guess somebody press a button on and off that would simulate me shooting down these imps. They were these flying holographic imps, and I'm like, okay, fine. So I do this, man, it lasts a while. It's like, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours until the high completely wears off. And I'd have to presume, in retrospect, though, it still kind of makes sense looking back on it, given the length of this gated community, that somebody was turning off these imps on and on voluntarily. Probably, maybe remotely, but a lot of people have these installed in their yards, like every single, like miles and miles. And all of this is you're being watched, I assume, by the people inside who have coordinated this viewing of you, which ultimately gets wiped out of your memory, hours later, just so that if it strikes the mood, or maybe you're doing something you're not supposed to, say drinking and driving again. When you drive back, you get back in your car, you're driving around, winding up in Riverside, never knowing, never remembering that you've been there. This second time was the time. I don't know how I got meth the first time, or even if it was meth, but I did jack up off my car. So that just is what it is. Twice, and it was under the covers, but not with a lot of protection from the windows. It was kind of like I'm a very private person. The meth side does appeal to me. The sex thing does appeal to me, but I'm not gonna call it like a meth psychosis, but it was really out of character. It was really like, privacy was a huge thing for me. But the bathroom surfaces were like, like this is a sacred space. Like you can't come in here. It's safe. Things were back in the day when things were safe. Post you can sit behind a couch and it's like a different world. But like pre, people, the cops can just illegally ask managers and casually, can I film your public restroom? With the participation of people who know that they're going to be using the damn restroom too. And I mean everybody around, or not like nobody staged. Like that's a huge leap, but that's where we are right now. Somebody said, are you scared? The sad really is no, I'm not. Why the fuck would I be scared? If I get shot where my life's at right now. It's kind of like, not really. But it's not here nor there. So That's why you get memory drill, which again is one of the big ones that sounds very, very insane. They basically, so the whole setup was the dealer, then the girl, then she wanted to go to a hotel. We go to a hotel. I decided not to take her in because I was just not in the mood. I was like, I wanted to feel this privately. We hung out for a day though, and then the next time, there's a guy, well, we're in the car, comes from that hotel, knocks on our window randomly, and he's like, hey, you guys need a drug dealer? Here's my card. I literally thought nothing of it. Clearly I have absolutely zero street smart. But in any case, that's the setup. How we wind up doing it all again, kind of in the same order, I have no idea. That's just weird. But so in any case, we go over to Temecula. Another guy catches up to it, or starts talking to the homeless people. Start explaining to me how to get drugs for the homeless people. They're all being talked to, and none of it's kind of like kosher. It's not like some of them you're meeting don't know who you are, and have been talking to you. It's all a planned setup by every single person to get you hooked on drugs so that they can fuck with you. And my presumption here is to get all of these people onboarded as a group so that they can use, like as an army, basically, at the very least a political army, a social army. This is a hell of a lot of power, is manpower, that is fucking like everyone in thousands of people. Again, that sounds insane. Somebody's sorry over there, I guess, but it feels like they're probably all listening. That happens a lot. Lots of people tend to be listening through my phone. But about the jacking off. So I do it indoors because I want to do it outdoors. It's just a weird thing. I was like, fuck, freak out about it too. Later, of course, like all my inhibitions are stripped away. This isn't embarrassing to me at all. This is a Friday. Whether or not I'm doing drugs or drunk, or I've been kicked out of rehabs, laughed out of them, it's become a very personal thing for this woman. I think the main one's my handler's like a Mexican chick, and she really gets off on the power. She's always talking about how popular she is, how much of a pussy I am. And she's always talking to me through my phone, doing things like setting things up to make me fail, creating basically new rules, to create an environment to continue these kinds of punishments, and basically see how far I could hit the floor, with her, using her abilities to, be this popular. I believe this is one way she thinks about it for Stan. But so now we're talking about 5, 6, 7 years later. I still do meth occasionally. I'm on 4 days. Possibly 5. In fact, I might get some more, even though I'm walking through here and there's probably like 10 hoods fucking shoot me. I feel like I'm owed other people to be hurted. You can't really take anything from me, and this is an avenue to do that. And my handler, my Mexican cop, is just going to say civil, you just want drugs, you just want drugs, you just want drugs. Everything is because you just want drugs, just want drugs, just want drugs. And this habit, this spiraling habit, and the way that I handle it now, especially through all this kind of social, this disgusting behavior, this constant disrespect, everybody being micromanaged around you, which takes a long time to figure out, to really realize that it's possible for cops to just come around and encourage everybody that we just want to see this guy get fucked. And they're just onboarded, and yet it's kept from you. Straight down from when it's like, you habits from the beginning to like the end. You've ever attempted getting sober, it's met with other things and things. And when you get sober, you have a reputation wherever it is. And the only way to survive is to get a job, and everybody's calling you a bitch. And it doesn't matter how long you're sober. It doesn't matter what happens. You are a bitch. You are being called a bitch. It's by staff. It happens in a routine way. You just get used to it. And there's no way out. I've never had the privilege of money that I could leave the too many states over. I guess it could have been a truck driver again. I didn't really think that. Again, if you want to look from my perspective, the way that I handled it, in a way you could call like an unintentional curiosity of what is possible with corruption in the average person. It was like a test, like a Stanford study. I was just like, no, and you test, and then it would plateau, and it's like, well, okay, we will reach the no wall, and it spirals into something even more dramatic. I'm talking about how I've been drinking, and I drove drunk from California to Nevada, and I parked. Occasionally they would be catcall me, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna drink and just drive and drink and drive, and they're not gonna arrest me anyways, and I just need the drink. Just is what it is. But auditorium's filled. I didn't see the auditorium itself, but I was talking about sitting on a corner in my car for like hours as many constant waves of people are coming through. It reached that kind of point where, stuff like that. And looking back on it, here's another point I want to point out about Gangstalking, is this process of realizing it's everybody else, the delusion, the insanity of it, they probably talk shit about me, is something you gradually realize is not unfair and like, paranoia, and you finally have a comprehension of how big it is before the end. And the end is the realization that it was actually everyone since the very fucking beginning, which is something I technically had some insight into, because my mother lied to me about the memory drugs when I was chemically retarded, chemically neutered, chemically, altered my fucking brain by basically being tricked into it by force, which is something that, my old conception of laws, it's a cop, but so what, prison time. Like the luckiest bitch goes to another state, keeps working. But I mean, that's pretty common. But that's huge. That's like fucking huge. And for like a really young guy, like he was scared, had no fucking idea. But then to realize it was all set in the first place so that it could happen again, without you even realizing, like, it happened in the first place, that it was basically, because it wasn't basically a trap to teach you a lesson about drunk driving. Initially it was to get you on meth. You just don't expect it. You're like, there's no way in hell that this is the truth. You never even think about it till way in the back. But I realized the second time when I remembered this antique shop, and my mom was saying, have you been here before? So for years, I lived with my parents, my dad, going around homeless, all of these kinds of things. My brother, my sister, they all know that I did something. I guess it's so unbelievably like Chinese sin, like Japanese seppuku style of sin to, in the heads of people I thought I knew. They're so extreme that they just lied and continued to lie to me. I haven't known these people since I was in my early 20s. If I talk to them about it still, and I've sort of just adjusted to the fact that they'll be like, huh? Huh? But they helped the police destroy parts of my brain and create a situation where and I was very vulnerable to the police. They were given the go-ahead by my own family. Like, you can just get him hooked on drugs, run him around, do whatever the fuck you want, and we'll play dumb for years, the long term. We have no fucking clue what that is. We don't know what you're talking about. And with the kind of calm and like there was nothing to see in their eyes. And so I was just like, yeah. But, and then, so what happens? So I guess as I'm dealing with this happening for the first time again, or I guess the first time altogether, because it was neutered out of my brain by without my explicitly allowing them to do what they said. Like, I'm thinking about like a calm drug, like I'm flipping out, some shit like that. But it's a memory drug. You know, I remember back in the day, I grew up, I was alive, I'm older now. That's insane sci-fi shit that somebody makes up and is not real at all. I'm talking like 2010s. This is institutional. This is a part of the, you know, the new industrial fucking police machine. And like I said, there are cops specifically trained in order to break the law and how to break the law in an efficient manner, in a manner that they won't get caught, where they will get the protection from all these people. This is a school. It might not be bangers. They literally could have just came in here, walked in, been like, hey, y'all, let's do this. And like, yeah, I don't know what the conversation is, because people do not talk to me this way. Everyone does not know directly what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about, like, I mean, I did drugs, like, immediately since starting meth. I had to make this mistake because, like, I don't know, it was nighttime, then it's daytime, and I'm just like spinning the fuck out. But second time comes around. It's a weird thing to have this kind of epiphany that this has happened before, and your parents were ill, and they will not talk to you like if this is real, even as it's happening. They've gotten the pass again to run you through any way imaginable. People that are, turns out now, are these are very dangerous people. And they're just local street cops. They're people with faces that introduce themselves to people, everyday people, and then get their full approval to commit crimes. I'm talking about, I've seen cops talk to HR managers, like completely sober and shit like that, and be like, hey, we're gonna film your public restrooms to fuck with this guy. What do you think? And that in itself is an insane suggestion. You feel like if the public would find out about that, my impression of that would be front page news, period. People would be worried about their kids, their own fucking genitals being like digitized into a fucking digital album, and then like some cop like jacking off or some shit. It's all online. There's the epiphany about your family being on it, and you've done this before. And there's the final epiphany that everybody in the world, again through stages, is just totally down. And it doesn't matter what the cost is to themselves, to the system, all the things you expect them to believe, and immediately right in front of them. And I still don't know, because I can't get a direct answer or anything. I just cackles and like hellos and to-dos. And kind of, not even a vague, like I'll get catcalled by people I've met, but not even kind of a vague, like look where it seems, like it's nowadays, I do, but where it would ever seem that they knew who the fuck I was. But it comes out here and there, but it's flat out at everyone. And I guess this is a great place to film this video, and for this to have maybe it's even designed like that. Like, this would be a cool video, spooky, right? It's just an empty place full of holograms of people that might actually be watching live right now. And it's kind of the representation of what's happening to you. It is literally fucking everyone. It's not, it's not paranoia if they're all out to get you. That's funny. It is actually every single person that you have met since before you even knew that this was happening to you. And they've been helping create scenarios and hide facts and encourage you and smile. And, even just that fact alone is like, that's impossible. So in some way, there is something that is safe. And it's, like, if it gets bad or continues to be bad, fine. But there's nothing, it's like bad for you, but it's not, it doesn't turn into the zombie apocalypse. The real, like, if I'm being watched possibly, I'm still saying possibly. I'm thinking hundreds, thousands of people, not just repeated holograms. As I'm walking around this empty giant space that was designed to lure me in, for me to check out, and it's like an artistic, sort of like Silence of the Lambs style depiction of this is what the fuck you get, you piece of shit. And you walk through it, and you feel fear and sadness and shame and shit like that. Which I don't. I got a little set right there, just stating it like that, like knowing that this is possible. But you know, I'm not gonna do that. We don't really have anything to cry about. You don't scare me to die. They don't have these kinds of feelings from me. They get to struggle with, like, you know, you want to do this shit. I'm fed up. You know, you pointed things out to me that I thought were more like possible too. Ken, you were going to be here always, filming me in my home when I got an apartment, when I had an apartment, in the restroom, ridiculing me, and getting other people to ridicule me, and they're all completely down, and none of them knows what I'm talking about. My own mother is somebody I would talk to occasionally when I got upset, as these kind of wheels are turning, and I'm like, fuck you. I don't need to acknowledge your opinions of me, so I'm being bullied. Bullying's just bullying. You know. No, it's not. And bullying's not just bullying because it could become the worst bullying. Bullying is bullying because everyone will gladly put you in a place. And I know this isn't strictly this isn't like, hey, this is violence, but no, all of these people have absolutely no problem whatsoever in fucking killing me. I think some of them nodded, like they're very angry, a lot of them. Like there's a very strong conception with these people, and not within myself, that if you're trying to fuck me, you know, this is a separate thing. Like, it is bigger and gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, things of this nature. But it's my responsibility. Like, I've never met tons of these people. Whatever trouble they got themselves in, the cops in. Yeah. I don't know how this conversation goes. Hey, we randomly found this. You know, and we did it. We swept you, and I don't know, lucked out hundreds of times, specifically because fuck that guy. You're never gonna come help us do that. And there's a hate that develops there, which is still kind of, I understand happening here and there. But again, I want to point out that this campus, this is a display of not just absolute total hatred by the police, but just like an active, cultivated, massive group of networked people that can be relied on to facilitate attempts to hurt me and cover it up, because nobody knows any kind of thing. Nobody knows. I mean, it was my own mother, my own father, but I'd call my mother. You know, I was kind of still mad at my family, but I was reliant on drinking. They were helping pay for things. I wasn't holding any job and stuff. I had always had some kind of idea. It's not an excuse, but like, this is how things work. When I'm on probation, this was tough. But I had probation. I first let it coming after me. No, that is not the truth. I started drinking again. Another shaming incident happened at work. I lost it. Felt helpless there. That was a big term. Like this. Like, this is it. Like, fucking goddamn, we're free. But here we are. I wouldn't doubt it. Again, it sounds crazy. If like millions and millions of people have been networked, and they already have been, but it's not necessary. Whatever the speech is probably barely rhetorical. It's just like, hey, let's do it. Here's a whole bunch of people. Fuck it. Celebrities. All kinds of plateaus. And I'm like, after I was unmasked 6 months at my father's up in Murrieta. Go, like, fuck you with the police. Fine, whatever, do that. They tricked me, basically. It was just to get straight from them on the basis of these videos. What in reality they were doing was collecting video footage of me in sexual situations, and more than likely using them to shame me without me knowing, with people around. Now, I'm not sure how many times it was hinted, but at least it's obvious. but it was more often not like, haha, we got you, you know, obviously we're not completely insane. And like, I don't know if maybe there's once or twice in the 6-month period where I'm just like, you know, bratting out, and I guess you could put it, like, so what, I'm bratting out, send me to jail. This is the real world. You just experience consequences. Nope. And, you know, I can remember when it turned from like laughter, and I'm like, fuck you, believe me then, I don't care. I don't know you. And, you know, there's laws and stuff. You want to set me free rather than take me to jail. It does encourage behavior if you're in that mindset that I was, like, I don't know you, which is also a big part of life. I don't have to respect your opinion. You don't just get to come after me. And nothing like this was even 100,000th% of something that is possible. And this is just one area. This is just one. And this is one that's a mistake. Let's try here. But I call my mother on and off for the next few years. I still talk to them. You kind of reach a breaking point, really. You know, I'm really not capable of taking care of myself. To begin with, it was tough, and now you slowly kind of realize that something is shrunk down, and like so far that you're doing things like not bathing for weeks, and you don't really feel depressed. I mean, you do, but you just can't do things, and it doesn't really matter to begin with. She says think. People say think a lot. I don't know what think means. It's probably just something, it's not related to what I said. It's just gonna walk by and live and coached. I like it here. So they tell me to leave or leave the state. The cops who talk to me through my car and my phone routinely are like, we're packing, I believe them. What I'm gonna do instead, this doesn't frighten me at all. In fact, recently I reached a very low depression point, which made me very calm. And I was like, you know, I can't feel humiliated or embarrassed any longer. I don't really feel fear. I have a manic kind of mentality, like a phone kind of, like you've used them to help occupy my stress down. But I'm not saying I'm calm, but I'm emotionally calm. These are people like singing you're fake. That's the thing. Somewhere down there. I don't think he's real, but so you saw these guys. This is a camera, I believe, and this could be a hologram, but he's communicating, I think, to communicate to me that while I'm walking around here, I'm being filmed. And I've been in events like these, and one of the logics behind this thread is like you're just an idiot for letting us treat you this way. And this is kind of the basis of how the psychology behind how it continues. It's just the fact that I'm still here, maybe, is essential to everything. This is me taking shit, not being curious, and then maybe leaving or like keeping away, doing something in between. It's like I'm still walking here. See that? I'm still walking here, and that is insane. That is a madness that the human being, it doesn't dare to provoke. I don't know, respect for your shame, like high school, like just like insecurity out the ass, and you are off this property, and you do not fucking explore. It is being videotaped, and each like further footstep is like you further pissing off the powers that be, oddly enough, even though it's staged. Maybe that's just another kind of gaslighting, because it's all meant to just be slapping their face, where reality is kind of, it's there, but it's distant, and then you could just crash into another reality that's not even real. Like this one, where it's a literal video game, and it's not so much that I've taken a lot of heat on myself, because I am of the mentality that I'm probably going to die tonight, and the cops are going to give it to me, and fuck you, and fuck all these people, and I hope they make your life shit too, because I'm at like my bottom 10% till I die. And I don't want your respect. I hate you, and I just want you to feel pain in a way that won't even be the, I don't know. It'll be an underwater fucking cave dive, all in the silt, with just one like square inch of murkiest light is me, and all you got to do is do some scary fishing trips in like the Bahamas. Is the comparison, and I'm stuck in the cave, and I'm stuck there for life. The only thing is I've been there for a while, and I've been adjusted, sort of in a way, in my own willingness to press the line, toe the limits. I've been groomed by service trained. This is this is a big one. It's a very big, elaborate setup. I haven't seen holograms in a long time, but I have seen them here. And we didn't go around the property and I didn't film it, and I did kind of forget that. I probably have a terrible memory now. But that's how you used to shit like this time. And it's questioned, and not to all the people specifically here. If anybody wants to come, generally maybe, I don't know. I don't have an audience. Questioned to the world or whoever's watching. Is this what I should have expected for any reason? Is this something that is capable in the States? And it's just something that I should have known. It's just everyone teamed together. And everyone, someone said, yeah, it's obvious a lot of these people. And this is it. It's not even, this is obviously kind of shaming, but they're not, when these kind of things happen, I'm not sure they're always even visible. There may be people are looking, but they're not walking away, they're not talking to you. And it could be like, man, for like during years of sobriety, they're ahead of you, they're behind you. They're cultivating this idea that every single thing that happens to them is your fault, and that everyone, the community, the cops, gets it. And it's okay to go the distance, like publicly filming restrooms and victimizing themselves, or saying things very publicly, like they are going to break into your home and set up cameras, and they are going to consistently watch you, period. One of the excuses they use is you jacked up in public too many times, which sounds insane. But after this all, like these two things happen, and still a private person, we still towed the line. It was blacked out windows kind of thing, but this isn't real, or this isn't real. This isn't real. We did a lot of back and forth, but there is something in here that's real, and this just isn't. And lines were ways of testing that boundary. But things like, this one's laughing. It's just pussy. Like, imagine if every single person lied to you about how, of course, it's not the Truman Show. And looking back, and it kind of might have actually been, for nearly a decade now, a legit full-blown Truman Show, or that stage, and things like that, and like rules of the regular world, maybe even from a high school knowledge of things like, oh, like, boo, I did die, and like, or if cops did stuff, they convinced me that if they had told me they knew I was like watching porn, it would be like, we know what they're doing, but not like we're just getting more and more footage. And it's also when you're not on drugs, you're not on probation, you hit your father, his father's in on it, and he's let him film the restroom. And it's all kind of not just, it's not a lesson, it's literal sexual assault constantly, and a lot of it you not knowing it. And the way that works, just to give myself an explanation here, which I don't feel the need to, you could treat it as you like, you do kind of get slammed with kind of like a retroactive feeling of rape, and kind of like an adjustment to like the idea of boundaries inside, outside are things that I don't feel. Not that I have this actually huge problem. I did do it more times, but with the fact that when it's not visible to the public, maybe with a high school mentality, but you know what, this isn't real the way that, like, there's some things I gotta give. The last time I did it, it was that I was fed up, and I remember there like 6 times since in blacked out windows, stuff like that. And the very last time I was like, you know what, fuck you. There's this back and forth, like you're gay, it's always you're gay. And you contemplate this information in your head, this correlation, this comparison between you're possibly, a lot of times possible because there's no way in fucking hell, actually actively sexually assaulting me everywhere I go. And this is the game plan. And you're calling me gay because it started out, one of the plateau shifts, one of the escalations was, you raped me. You made me watch you masturbate in a hotel room. And there were stuff like that. And that created an escalation where I was gay and things like that. And it caused, what do you call it, juxtaposition. This, you think about justice, like this is just, now we're talking about extreme, like sexual assault, we're talking about huge boundaries of the law giving way, being supported by lots of people. And the cops actively engaging with offers, the judges in front of you, and the defendants, like TV, like wink wink, but you're fuck you, calling lawyers, getting this weird impression that maybe they're not going to help you, and just shut your mouth. You can like ride the fucking hurricane, like against a mountain into a fucking volcano, and then get blown up into the fucking sky and drown in the sea. It's just shit like that. But what do you mean? You got your Venn diagram of trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. Meanwhile, we reach a point like this, and we're not even surprised. We're still kind of open-minded. It's not everyone, because it's a hard thing to think about, and it doesn't matter anymore to me. That's just an impossible thing. It's supposed to be, and if that's the way the world is, then fuck it to begin with. But from the very beginning, mom, just no hesitation, same old mom, smiling and everything. Brother and sister, no idea. Just hey, hello, everything's perfectly normal. I guess it was so brutally shameful that they were willing to destroy me. And they still won't even acknowledge that this has happened or is happening. I'll text my mom, call my mom, and she'll be like, she'll suggest she thinks I'm a schizophrenic. And it's like, I mean, it's my mom, so she just doesn't know, so I'm trying to tell her. And she just doesn't get it, maybe. She's being a ditz kind of. She just can't get that. She's just actively lying to me because she will not in any way protect me in even the remotest, tiniest way. That little piece of, like, I am here too, and I can verify that there are things that there is one single person out there can verify for you. It's just like, hi, I know you. One thing. I'm sorry. It's sad looking at it in retrospect, but that shit's all behind me. I don't have the strength to even hate them any longer. It's just the norm. I don't respect them, and they respect me being zero, less than zero. Obviously. But like the skilled acting, like it's not skill. It's just complete indifference. All of a sudden, bizarre. Going through it for the first time again, talking to my mother, like kind of coming to the realization, like I know you're in on it, but why would you keep lying? You know these people are entrapping me. You know that, these little traumas, like realizing that you've been possibly, you know now that there have been broad swaths of sexual assault and complete indifference to the people that are closest to you, and it's a joke, and they're telling the neighbors. You know that the neighbors don't think they're being set up, but it's a haunted house. And you're like, fuck you. You piece of shit, you can't do this. Well, they're not doing that. What they're doing is setting up something in which they have total power of you and the ability to move massive groups of people. You know, setting up networks, I imagine, to have all of these people have an understanding with the police. Hey, if it's time to work, you can do it. And you know what? Your friends agree. And maybe this is even some kind of test. Maybe it's just incidentally something, because I don't know, the dumber one. I gave up faster. I pushed easier. I disbelieved more. alone. I don't have friends. You know, I get depressed, anxious. I'm addicted to my phone. I just play video games. I try to drink and drown everything out for a long time. But ultimately, you know, why do this to me? I didn't actually make the cops stay there and like watch. They like bang and make noises and stuff. And there was a period where it would be like, you know, you could say, anybody would be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know, a combination of fuck you and this isn't happening. Ultimately, it's like, okay, you're right, we're just gonna do this straight up. And like, this is some gay ass shit, but you're a faggot too, you dumb motherfucker. And something has to change, even if it's an escalation. We need something to change because we can't move forward. We can't see the blur blocks. We don't have the strength. We don't have the energy. And it's tough to begin with what you thought you were looking at. And at the very least, I need to know what the fuck I really am. I call me pussy, but and ultimately, still, it's like it's not everything. Everyone, it's calculated in an openly corrupt and disgusting way. So ask me now, what's my reaction to was I super gay with the police, and they're like totally valid. Everyone said so that I was raping them. I think one of the dudes said he basically just shoved it in my eye when they set up the trap, and they just sat there and kind of like watched them, like I don't know what they did, but occasionally they'd make jokes, but they'd make noise in the other hotel rooms, and it's like, you know, yes, you reach a point where it's like, you know, there's no way that maybe I'm this super naive to begin with that way, but there's no fucking way the cops are in on it with the manager to like kind of trick you into like maybe I'm not going to speak for the people that they bang things too when they're upset. So I don't know if that's particularly useful encouragement. You're like stupid brat. Sorry, but it's I don't know. That's the way I was interpreting. Like really, but we'll call it kind of gay. We kind of know, but we kind of don't because there's no fucking way in hell. And if we did, it's still past tense, and they're so willing. You know what? Fuck you. Okay, it's just like that. You're still gay too. Nowadays, I see it as far beyond the use of the word gay, but I go with I'm kind of gay. We did some kind of gay, and they're super gay, so because damn, like it was the calculated way, like just to be in the public restrooms and to kind of know it for a long time, like just by accumulation of feelings and experiences, and kind of like it's less like this is impossible and more like a surrender to like I don't know, it's weird because people will taunt you with like, yes we are, and they'll be like, no we're not, to your face, you're an idiot, and you're like, everybody couldn't be, and it's kind of another shaming, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to fully quantify, but what's my reaction now? You could fill this whole room with fucking UFC boxers with knives, and every celebrity in the world, which I'm fairly positive some celebrities are watching now, and there are plenty who know my existence. In fact, I just watched 4 basketball players or something, but I mean like top level. Drew Barrymore, I think knows who I am. Fuck Drew Barrymore. Will Smith, after he got canceled, guess what one of his first gigs was? It was to call me a pussy through a 7-Eleven. Sing about it, because at least it could have been, or it could have been a chat GPT kind of thing. I'm fairly positive it was him. And what's the reaction to that? My reaction would be, okay, well, fuck you all. Somebody's just gonna look me in the eye and be like, what the fuck? And not count me from the corner. And then if I ran over there, they'd be like blitzing down the hall. Yeah. Like, obviously, they're trying to fuck with me. All kinds of things. And I'm not excusing myself because I'm so embarrassed. We're like way past that. We got to a place where anybody would be like, dude, you're just you know you're on camera right now. And eventually, like, when we're like, I'm gonna revisit this, and we're just gonna antagonize you to come at us and feel some depth here. Like, what the fuck can we do to feel safe and to feel like there's a way to move forward? Well, so we were just like, I'm gonna do this and fuck you. And so I made sure it was on the car again, outside, windows blanketed or whatever, and inside, like, with no protection. And I'm like talking to him instead of like somebody saying something through the TV, like, we know you're watching porn. We know what you did a few years ago, kind of vibe. It is very gradual, and then they retroactively lie. And it's part of the game. People lie with you. It's part of the punking process. It doesn't matter if that's the case. Like, you're just dumb and fuck you. And that's gay. And the cops are right. But you're talking. See, somebody leave, and you're talking about pairing this up with your feelings about the situation. Is, what do you mean? All of these people are like, you should just get sexually assaulted until they decide to stop. And that you should have been, your parents decided that you were trapped back onto drugs in order to be filmed in their homes. And like, somebody be casually like, okay, Colin, stop. And they're like, oh shit, and you hide in the blankets. These little retroactive plateaus kind of like slam you. And they don't come with a lot of emotion, really. They just kind of change things for me, and you don't really understand the impact of that. Like, okay, I guess I could do this again, because if it really is the truth, which is still impossible, because this is what a crazy person says. Everybody's done it, and we're not even nearly close to this yet. And you know what? That's an drawing impetus for me, is the proof that it's not the truth. Again, not a rationalization in any way. We totally did near the end to like cajole them out, like just like knowingly, like this has to be the truth. And we've done this a lot, and we've been punked on a lot. But it's like something will be coming there that will save you, and all that is one single person looking at you and being like this is what this is. But it's all like this. None of this happened. Even your mom texting you over years and years, always, are you sure you're okay? And with like, a lot of like artistic sort of text messages, if you think about it, like, what would my emotions be like if I really didn't know what was happening? Are you sure you're okay? Like, I'm worried. Is it schizophrenia? I could vaguely recall that back in the day I had this feeling of schizophrenia, which I remember, and I was like, Mom, are you retarded? That's because she helped cover the tracks and protect the police, random grown-ass man, and traffic me on drugs for this specific purpose. One of the specific purposes, at least, of sexually assaulting me, eliciting sexual video of me without my knowledge, like this is safe, or this is something else, and doing God knows what with it for years. And then you kind of realize this kind of all lines up, and is no longer something I could call impossible. And it's like, how many goddamn videos is there? What do you do with that information? I have no fucking clue. But it doesn't really change this Venn diagram. Like, can we do it again? It's kind of like, it's like so fucking what? Like what I'm feeling right now, not related to masturbation, but I'm just literally gonna go get a dime. And we're just gonna see what more the world can offer us. Like, fuck you is my answer. I started doing meth again, sort of like on a whim. I was like, I've always been kind of guilt tripped, was what I feel. And like, well, what about these fucking random motherfuckers? They're like, dude, I'm sure trying to do crack over here. I'm like, okay. Like, what? Oh, this is my problem? People just coming over like, this is your fault. The cops just, I don't know the conversation. They cut me, or they know I'm doing stuff. It makes more sense if you're homeless. But like, a bunch of random people, it's just, maybe it's just kind of homeless people. But I just celebrities, other things. Celebrities, hey, you want to go help fight, man, fuck with some dude, whatever the fuck. Watch, hear videos of him just accepting being dunked on. over and over again by people being like, fuck you. And like either you accept it a little bit, or there is a lot of, I don't have to respond to that. And that does more into, you're so used to it, even if you're sober, that, you know, I'm not going to go fighting 500 people, and I know if I go to prison, I will be murdered. I will be shit talked out the ass. They probably already know who I am. I will get fucking murdered. Clearly, they wouldn't stop. The prison systems already know I'd be sitting with the maybe that knows me best, and they would shit talk and try to put me in a situation where this is easy, this is a good thing, and it thoughtlessly, maybe thoughtfully. I'm assuming thoughtfully, but in any case, the reality is there would be no protection. I've had half of my belongings stolen. The cops saw the people that took that bag, protected them, and they stole half of my shit, like all the stuff that was worth money. Shit like that. Man, get a little out of breath. Yeah, just around and around, God knows. And one of the things is all these people too feel like I'm using them right now, possibly, if they're like sitting somewhere and being holotaped or fucking ghosting the shout out here. Like, what are you doing? You're fucking using me now. When in reality, they have always been my abuser. And my, if not secret abuser, my very unsure, often like retroactively, you know, you know, this is my impression of that. It might be a lot of people, but you know, if I could burn them all alive, I would. People are, all of them who are listening, that man that's pissed right now. They're like, you piece of shit motherfucker, after everything you did, which is to say, masturbate or drink and drive. And I mean, not on drugs. First rehab I went to, the entire rehab wants to kind of insinuate that I masturbated in the restroom. Not on drugs, with a new phone and stuff, or even somebody else's phone. They don't want you even talk about it or acknowledge, at least not with me. Hey, the cops are fucking crossing the line with the Holo-versity. And I don't know if it was this is Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. The staff was in on it. Stuff like that. It's like, you know, it's slowly insinuating. And I was, and you know, at the time, and I'm still insecure, but like much more so. It's like, there are things to protect. Now it's like, I want to treat these people like the Hellraiser. You know, I want to feel the humiliation you fucking offer me. You show me, you stupid bitch, and I want to be high as fuck, feeling it. And we can do that shit. You know, I mean, I want to do it again, not just because I want to do it again to black shit out, but because fuck a lot of you was why I started doing this, why I started doing my thing. I thought about it, how I thought about it. What do you mean I owe other people the right to smoke their crack or whatever the fuck? And in my exchange for this, for their habit, was, you know, silent, strategic portions of my life being just completely destroyed, like in ways that hit sort of instantly with kind of knowledge more than felt damage. You know, when did I feel like, well, I guess I'm already a whore? I didn't. I kind of blocked that out. We did more like stuff like that. I don't know how many times we jacked up in a fucking motel, but it wasn't like year-long periods. It would be like periods here and there and here and there. I don't even know how to quantify it. But we have been sober at the past 6-7 years, 2 full, and then we had like 6 to a year, and then 6, stuff like that. But no, and so I never really rationalized it as, you know, who gives it? Why am I still doing this? All the people were like, well, you're fucking retarded. On the sexual level, did I feel like, so what? Yeah, I certainly said so, like as a taunt, like, so if you are, and they play games about it. You know, well, we're not, but we are. You know, and to do so, you'd have to prior set up permission with particular rooms and stuff. It's complicated. I want to talk about now, though. Do I want to get naked and run through the streets? No. Could I? and then like, I don't know, just kick a child in the face. Like, sure, maybe I'll kick a child in the face because that means death. But when I feel like shame, I could get over that pretty quickly as a very prep person. Like I am used to being abused in a sexual way, and it being something that I've been blamed for, which is like, I guess partially, but I'm not sure how to put that in a way where the cops wouldn't like, that are using it to either, they have it taunted me with the idea and to give you an understanding of my mental state as things go by, have taunted me with this idea that they have created a website, it requires a passcode, and they share it with people, possibly these kind of numbers of people. And I was on a phone call, or through my speakers in my car, or something like that, where it was like young guys, and they were like either jacking off or simulating jacking off, and I'm just hearing it. I'm not like shocked. I'm like, we contemplate what that means to us later. It's not really a felt thing. It's like, actually I didn't feel anything of that, okay? I was just unsurprised. It was one of those things, like, I know who you are inside, so you're totally doing this. But at the same time, you know, like, I think that's not a thing that can happen, because that's just a weird another little sadism and attention to detail for people that have been putting on me as a case for like decades or more, just to do this sort of shit. In retroactively, is it obvious that everything under the sun? Do you believe anything the fuck that I said? No, it's not obvious. Is it completely possible if the Earth united and just I was in the center and hello, we finally decided to acknowledge the fact that we fucking we hate you. But my feelings toward this, again, definitely gonna go try to find another dime. Hope everybody in here has to do work of some kind. Like, I don't know what they're doing, like little errands. They got to dance, I think, singing ones. Whoa, whoop-de-fucking-do, you piece of fucking shit. And that's the little miserable thing I get for being, how much more notorious and famous. I don't know. I don't care. What is it, 10,000 more people? Maybe like millions. What if it's 30 times it's China and Europe? And maybe I've already got a TV show for all I fucking know. But maybe that, like, website is so this guy's with him over here, like, we're really mad. So what I'm just to clarify what I'm saying is, like, literally, fuck you, I don't care. Like, what are you losing in the process? Do your little dance. You already been busted. Get out of jail. Fuck yeah, baby. Fuck yeah. But I believe this is maybe a bunch of drug dealers who have already been coached. This is the guy, just do it. Then you have to do work. This has been kind of like insinuated. Recently, I have been shown, or at least through audio, there's definitely karaoke involved. But it's kind of like something that's hung in the air for a very long period of time. It's like, we are hurting these people, and that's the reason they're here. And it's not, these are their people. Originally, they're people that are part of this wing of the Riverside County Police Department that followed me here from Nevada. But these are themselves going to be victims. What is actually, what they're actually being done, what's being done to them is probably extraordinarily mild. And ultimately not, outside of this kind of visual, these kind of optics, like, I can see people just being like, fuck that shit, for sure. You know, smaller stuff, but just depending on who you are, and like, or just, you know, I would have been like, well, fuck that shit. But not like the genuine, true belief that, like, it's actually my fault. I think that the world is actually so fucking crazy and demented that actually believes that shit on some level. But I don't know. Fuck up my leg. And we're getting out of breath. Walking on the surface. So I'm gonna go back to my car. I guess I went around a couple times. We got 5 days of sleep. Out of sleep, but this is the consequence. But about the sex thing. How many times, if you know, to what degree it's true, have I been videotaped without my knowledge before he ever had the slightest inkling? I don't know, dozens, hundreds. You know, we're talking about private restrooms without any indication, private homes, things outside of drugs, a period where it was a get scared straight thing, and this isn't possible. You can't actually just show up and be like, hey, neighbors, and bother and such. I understand that. Again, on some level, I knew my parents were involved. You kind of block out some or parts of it, like my mother's, maybe a little bit more ignorant. It was at my father's house. And you kind of like trying to change the narrative. Like there are little wiggle rooms, little cracks to make this easier and make it make sense in a way where you don't just, it's not like a fever dream where you're just trying to like, what do you like clinging on to? Like, well, what the fuck is real then? But this sex shit, did it affect like my this continuous period? There was a period for a few where it'd be like on and off, and it's like I know but I don't because it's possible. And you call that what you like. I don't know how to typify that, how to explain that. It's like an excuse was, well, there's hundreds of videos, and the thought was, well, fuck you, bring it on. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm a cheap whore for you to you now? Okay, like, what? How am I supposed to feel about this? I don't know. I'm still saying I'm not gay. Like, if you want, the analogy I said was, okay, I'm kind of gay. Like, kind of got there, but I didn't really mean it like that. It was other people planned in a very specific way, in a high level, strategically, like people trained specifically to break the law and fuck you over. That's their wing. That are capable of getting into public restrooms with the public knowing, routinely staying ahead of you like that, or working wide areas. I don't know. That level of structure and networking about things that you feel like the average person is like, it's out of consciousness for them to even consider that as a possibility. And they're like a riot, or it'd be front page news. Maybe not riot. Maybe if it was the 80s, yeah, and there'd be a fucking mega city burn, and there'd be 10 more riots because 10 more black dudes died or some shit like that. But so what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is, I'm gonna keep talking about this stupid shit. It's gonna get more and more scatterbrained. This acid, and I'm literally gonna look for it on. Yeah, you know. And I guess the edge we're pushing, while all these people are hating me. Obviously, I'm not retarded. Respect is important. I'm never gonna get any. If they have it like, that's not even a single iota of respect. That's kind of, I'm happily disrespecting you. It's not, rather than feeling a bit of anger about it, but it's all the same. Like, respect is important in some way. I don't want to characterize what I think about respect, but yeah, I don't respect any of these people. Like, genuinely. I'm not filled with the rage, but I'd find it amusing if I just watched their bodies collapse and they'd feel pain, and I'd be like, this feels completely justified. Especially after, like, the level of justification sent at me to kind of beguile me into the weakest place I could be and exploit me. And to just be like, why like this, why like that? Even if I handle it stupidly, all over the place, the whole time, straight. It's kind of like, there's nothing to really get about it. There's no real point in doing this. I mean, except, like I was saying, they have a stage. I don't know how much of our life has been staged. You always just get insinuations to people. It's the cat calling from the side of the mouth. And if you try to talk to them directly, they're like, nah, man, what's up? And you excuses again. Okay, this is part of the game. This is the way it gets your straight thing. Like, obviously it is. It's not that you've been randomly targeted. It's not some psyop to see how many gangs and drug dealers we could connect. Even now that sounds the same, but it's perfectly possible. I'm not insane. It's completely 100% possible, but I'm not just going to jump to that conclusion, because that's an conclusion that even though I wouldn't understand it. And we've still been guilt tripped, yes, a lot. So, like, everything's kind of like me. Like, I'm like way crossing the line, but at the same time, like, fuck you. What the fuck happens now? Like, to move differently. like move visibly. Like I'll just keep trying to fuck your mouth until I can catch it like a blur motion and kind of just like follow it a little bit further. And fuck how you feel, you piece of shit. Like it's not like you're gonna murder me. And then you think, well, that's easily rationalized. If I went to prison, I probably shouldn't do that. But can I get capped out here? I'm gonna be followed by the police forever. So yes, because they wouldn't stop me. They wouldn't stop me. I probably shouldn't say that, but feel free. If I get you in trouble, I want to do this in front of all these people, and I'm often in front of all these people. Maybe always them. Like fuck your hood. Fuck your hood. Fuck all of you. Fuck everyone. Every single person that participated in Gangstalking me is somebody what I'm telling the cops now is I don't respect and I won't do it. I'm doing this actively so that you could at least inconvenience somebody a little bit and it can offset like what all these people have done since the beginning. Micromanage my perception of the world. It swarms, like coached and shit. Like this must have happened with my family, my brother and sister. I get weird text messages like from my brother and sister, or like insinuant things, and it's like, okay, like I know you know, but is it part of the thing? I don't know, just weirdly distorted kind of, like they know, and then you know that you don't know that, and then you just know, and then it doesn't matter. Okay, this is life now. There's no feeling. It's like I know I've been betrayed. I know I don't love my family. I'm also in a very tight place, and it's like how my family feels about me. Well, to put it like this is there's such a lack of respect, like with all these people, that it's like it's perfectly fine for anything to happen, and for any kind of thing to happen against me, and it's kind of a lesson maybe. I'm a big fuck up. I think my first job, I was like 28. I was homeless a lot. I was. Things like that. I got hooked up with a drug called Benzodrex, which is over-the-counter nasal decongestant. But if I were to guess, and I get little hints like, well, I got recently how my brother feels like he really want to see his brother. I didn't see him, but like hints like these, it's like okay, like it pivot you into like they've been here, they're more involved than you think and stuff like that. But I feel like this, Laurel by extension, a very large part of it has convinced itself that, like, how would you put it? It's a total lack of respect because it's like these are the rules. One of the rules is you do not tell him anything. You do not acknowledge that any of this is happening. It is a guessing game. You are his supports. Everything is unstable ground because there's just it's a lot, and you don't know that, right? But they, what would it be like? Like I don't know, like a polite hatred, a hatred that isn't accepted as hate. Like there's like, well, I'm a father, or this or that. Like of course I do, but it's like a very unfelt thing. I don't really talk to them. And I really kind of, like, just for money, kind of, it's like my excuse, but it's, how would you put it? I don't know, especially if they did it from so long ago, but like, a belief that if I were like, the belief that there's a genuine kind of thing that's still there, but it's actually completely absent, and it's been replaced with like this feeling where that those same kind of affections or associations, we're not close to family, have actually been replaced with like a kind of dormant hatred. It's just a weird thing to say. I know it sounds like like an emo description. I'm not sure how to put it, but it's like not love hate. Where I would say these people all actually hate me, including my family, and it's be accepted that feeling like like good, bad is okay, like not wanting to see me or whatever. But hey, I know you. I'm still your parents, and again, I'm not really close to my parents, My mom would probably strongly disagree. I don't know. She might have left me over the phone the next, like, an hour. But, like, the portion where that's about respect, or the active, the action of whatever action you do to another person, all of these things are, it's okay, whatever it is I am, and you can help it participate in fucking someone like this, and it's not love, hatred. I haven't slept in a long time. I would call it closer to pseudopsychosis. Just to, I don't know. I haven't done psychology in a long time. I don't know what it called exactly. But an act of hatred and a belief in, like, things are still, it's Trent Lane, that shit's weird, can't approve it, we'll keep laughing at him or something like that. But actual hatred, the act of hating, and combined with the feeling of love, maybe, or like an obligation. Like a really true, genuine, like the participation, the act of seeing other people participate, their own grieves, this fits, that fits, this is the narrative. Say my mother's like, let's just get straight, and man, this kid's dumb. No. No, like that rationalization. Again, I'm not trying to call out my parents because I don't really give a fuck what they think. I just kind of rely on them for money, and it's kind of like a passive, not even respectful. They just whatever. I don't know. No feelings in there. I don't know. Just thought I had that. Maybe for like a really long time. Yeah, slowly kind of grown in kind of or thought into. I don't want to go into how do people feel. I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking tired. And so, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to antagonize either the entirety of Las Vegas again or North Las Vegas, and I'm going to get some dude fucking in some kind of trouble. Maybe a whole fucking hood in trouble, and they got to do fucking super squats, shit like that. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's the same thing. I know there's more. Oh, I mean, I it's like that's dumber. Lots of people have found everybody. I don't think so. Pick one, like, blow my brains out. That's the thing. I don't mind. And you can't actually make things worse for me. That's the thing. Unless you just keep me on the streets where I'm out already with no possibility of work anywhere. I've done it before and it is worse. But I mean, there's just nothing anywhere. Anyways, I'm not trying to get weirdly existential. I don't know what emotion describing my feelings because they're not there. I can still get hurt, but it's gonna be different, and it's not like you can't. I'm really sincerely dare people, for cops, to be able to make things worse. And what's what I'm gonna do? I want Hellraiser. I want my little Mexican hop that hates me to go Hellraiser and she try as hard as she's not gonna. I kind of gear more towards that. I feel like is it because I'm hopelessly addicted? In a way, no, and yes. In a way, yes. I've been doing it for like a week. They're always streaming the parades. The extent to which it's going on is like here's just a bunch of random people that know whatever. You get used to it, and you get used to it even if you're sober. You get used to it even if you move. Younger me would I don't know, he'd shit himself until he exploded. Lots of people were just like the first thought is fucking hell no. Me, I'm like I wonder like how more badly this can hurt me is not a way out, but like a kind of dare, and I just want something in return. It's fucking hurt a bunch of people a little bit. They had to sit there for an hour maybe, and that's all they had to do, and I get to go home nowhere and realize possibly that like fuck, just hoping somebody die in prison one time. Too bad, like that's how I feel a little bit about it. That was all worth it because this one person got hit in a kind of similar way. That's it. Just maybe people have died. And see, just don't tell me. You know? I figured it out, huh? Somehow. Something. Let's see. Or here's another motivator. Besides just like one more day kind of thing. I wouldn't do this for like a month unless, like, I don't know, it would be a hard sell for me to do it from. I don't have the money to anyway. But it's like, I want to see the rest of the city. Do some work to. I'll go home with his memories. I'll feel nothing. My life will be exactly the same. Was it more people? Was it less? It was or wasn't. Because it will always be everyone around me already. You know, and we kind of know that, half and don't know it, and half know it. You know, you don't want to know it all the time, but you do know it. Yeah, but there's a possibility like one or two people do, or there's a percentage. Somebody around you, no matter where you go to, has been adjusted into a system sort of very easily. You know, I'm a retard, but having been born again, not born again, but born, fucking, I'd imagine it's just, here's a bunch of people, you know, like social pressure, fucking Terry, done. Me, social pressure, scary, no, I just, you know, I'm completely adjusted. I don't feel uncomfortable, this is expected. That was shocking. It was a nice little demonstration, pretty massive, lots of people, I guess. They do that too. The timing. I just stepped on this quiet. This guy steps over. Okay, you had something to say to me, you never said to it, there's another motivator. Not that I'm making excuses. I am going to try and get a dime. This is all you showed me all this. And okay, whatever. Can you go back there? I don't know, punch him on the face? They're not getting hell. Somebody's screwing blah, 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 blah. But quiet, you know. You just do this. But also, the messaging is unclear. There are pieces that are like, this is a good idea when it's not. And sometimes it's a leave, I mean, city, county, state. And, you know, I used to go travel around, but it took a while to build up a state. We drove down here, immediately across the board. We didn't do any math. And we were like, we can drink outside. Still trying to get sober. But, you know, it's completely legal and still true, and still excuses being made, things like that. No direction where, and also like, you know, it never really abated necessarily. So you just it's like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, and if you ever want to do something about it, you go ahead. If you ever want to tell me something, okay, go ahead. But not a single time, 6-7 years, has anyone ever directly referenced the fact that they understand the reality that this is happening, including my parents, which would mean a hell of a lot of active participation in a very short period of time, and then very passive, pleasant guidance into situations that were very dangerous for me, where I was, and here we are. Right, and when I finally came to terms with that, I didn't come to terms with it. Okay, I thought about that, makes sense. You know, there's no feel. Okay, that makes sense, and I accept that now. So this is so goddamn very important. I want to take drugs. I've been awake a long time. You know, there's the also thing you don't have to think right. So this has already happened. Do it again. Show me a bigger one. I want to see a bigger one. Not necessarily, like, it would be cooler, I guess. I would just look at it and, like, here are all the people that think I hurt them, and they fuck being this. But, you know, it's okay in the end. At least for, what am I trying to say? Either way, I'm the butt of the joke or whatever. And it's, what do you call it? They driving force. He's getting pulls through, and they're all like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're like, here's some, like, Stepford wife, even like that. M. Night Shyamalan, the Village shit, you don't just go, that seems fucking awesome. Or I'll I'll do it because God knows what. It's just God. If you just threw that my face out the gate, I'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? And if the answer was like, oh, he jerked off in his car, I would just, I don't know, I just think about that a lot, and then I'd be like, what the fuck? I don't know. There's reasons. Obviously, a lot of criminals favorite thing, like I said. What the fuck are we talking about now? Besides, that we're going to try to go to the dime. He'll be delivered to us. That's just a thing I've been joking or telling the cops about. Like, I'm in a way have power. That's too bad, because my bitch is extremely narcissistic, and she just runs her mouth, and I don't fuck care. I do have power. If you're hurting those people, and that's something that's real, which is possible. Things like that, and I'll just be, it's just stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about, huh? Go get me drugs, and sometimes they'll do that, and so is that fucking stupid. Anyway, and what are they gonna do? What are the cops gonna do? What does anybody do? Either way, when it came down here, the second time, because I've been up here, and this was memory right out of me somehow, again too, because it was, I remember living here, the same kind of vague way. I remember this more pronouncedly when I realized my first and second job were jobs I had took the first time I moved down there. At what age? I have no fucking idea. And yeah. Drink on the weekend, drink in your car. Like the stakes get upped, the excuses get made, the attempt to full-blown sobriety gets difficult. And then when the reality that it's not going to be fair at all, it's like, and you already kind of just, fuck that shit. You just drink outside. It's perfectly legal. It's fucking about. Nope. Let's do some big old loud, everyone around you, the whole workplace. Fucking, maybe they're I don't know. It's hard to explain inside out. It's definitely not going to be the same thing coming from like my youth, fresh out of college, and I'm like watching me, and it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? Yeah, I would have ran. I would have fucking been running. That's the period that I hidden. I would push people in front of me, maybe. I would, you feel beer or whatever. But I'm kind of sad social. Oh fuck, like I won't be accepted. That's good. If I felt that now for a second, I would be terrified. I'd be like, holy fuck, get this shit the fuck out of me. Get the shit the fuck out of me. But this is all stuff that I don't really remember. It's my thought process now. The reason I started back up in Nevada just randomly. I don't want people to experience the punishment that the cops promised me they would be experiencing. I don't even need knowledge. Fucking tip something at me. It's not everyone and their kids. Fuck me in a way that's like from my front page news, like all over the place. It maybe like needs to be informed. The world needs to be informed of, because it's like some lysergic acid, like brain test thing, like some scary ass CIA thing, which would be a hell of a lot easier to communicate. Be fucking whole cities know about it. The witnesses are, but drug structures. Yeah, I'm not certain. I mean, I never am where I'm at now, where people are really getting hurt. And I don't like that. I want them to be at least inconvenienced. One of the things with the plateaus was, or with the new pieces of information that changed the game as the years went on, with relation to anything and everything, including sobriety, or like owning a knife, which I could own legally, having an apartment, drinking inside, stuff like that. Just further kind of things getting pressed to see how far they can push me into a state where, like, I'm just wherever, I don't want to give it a name, just a bad one, the worst one. Oh God, and genuinely made it. Let's see, and meticulously, stuff like that. even at, that's like a lot of people. Even at that, I don't know about following me and like doing it again. Shit like that, memory drugs, crap like this. But I've been here. I've been here. I don't know how many times I've been memory drugged, because that's how it works. That didn't help. If you're wondering how you get here, that didn't help. Been waiting, even your family doesn't know. Those lies are obviously the most important to make you vulnerable, because there's no way they would do that. It's crazy. They're not actively participating in like micromanaging your perception of reality to the point where you're they're helping set you up. It seems like one of my cops. Hey, oh, it's a bar? No. Who said that? I don't know. I think that's one of my cops or something. He didn't like me saying that. That's gaslighting. You just say no. You run up to that motherfucker's lying. You do some prison shit. People believe you. That is crazy. That's a little shit. My parents actively participated in setting things up to get me hooked on hard drugs, to allow the police to film me in a sexual situation that I wasn't completely informed of, which to the purpose of essentially acclimating me to it. And then, you know, I can do some kind of side brain shit and be like, you know what, it's your fault, but at the same time, you know what, because it's your fault, it's not my fault, so I'm setting this up and I'll do it. But, you know, and I'll do it viciously and hard, but you know what, and with a lot of lying involved too. But you like, you know, but you don't know. I could throw everybody some, you know, and you don't know. But not my parents. Not my parents. That is very integral. I'm gonna tell you, just one person to be like, hey, I just saw the shit that you saw. You know? My parents at the very least certainly didn't actively participate in laying the very beginning foundations wherein I get hooked on hard drugs. It is shaming my dad's letting the cops into the restroom in the garage, like voluntarily, and then you kind of get like, I don't know. My mom's trying to convince me I'm a schizophrenic. There's like trust there, obviously. I know I'm not a schizophrenic, but you're like, you know, maybe we could squeeze that in there somewhere. Like, not because she's trying to fucking kill me, but it's certainly not because she wasn't. She does know. She might call me or something. She probably won't. There's a tendency that she calls around certain dark periods to, you know, it's like, I know, but I don't know. And then, you know, and then it's like, whatever, dude. I'm not thinking about it because it really doesn't matter. And I don't know what to do with that right now. But yeah, just randomly. Huge. Not a single person has ever kind of like told my face, like acknowledged anything about anything. Or when I was kind of asking a lot, or like strangers that way. What the fuck are you talking? I don't know. But the closest thing was a dude like a shell was like, he came and talked to me and was like, hey man, I didn't really realize what kind of trouble you were going in. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know what he was talking about, but he was mean to me the day before. And that was the closest I ever got. Let's see, probably called my mom in Nevada a few months ago. I'm still a schizophrenic apparently. We've had this conversation like a lot, like trying to explain it, like even when I'm in, it's kind of weird. I don't. It's kind of shameful. I don't know what to say about it. And you know, and now I'm at. It got mad, and it's all your fault. And I know that shit, but it's also everybody else's fault, and I know that too. And I do know that nobody gives a fuck to begin with, and I'm really talking to nobody. It's not just that I'm here, you know, in an empty street that's been pieced together with thousands of people. And so they all know that. Quit my phone. So let's just quit my phone. So I don't know directly what that means, or should we talk about masturbating? If the cops are wondering if I'm gonna sit down in the corner of the street and just start whacking off, no. But if you're wondering, would I be ashamed of that? No. They've all probably just secretly watched for the like all those people have probably already know. These guys know, those guys know. They're all fucking lying. if you fucking me. And you know, if you're sitting there, so you fucking me, why can't I just fuck you? I don't necessarily want to do it like that. I was like, oh, raping you, but what do you mean? But it would be like weird. And then I just walk away. Like I said, I don't know. Like, what the fuck do you want? People have done that. Lots of people have done that. Fuck's your problem. And I'm not tempted to do that. I want to go get drugs. And then to them and be like, man, I hope a week of meth makes me feel like, I don't know, somebody got pushed on a stairwell at least. Like, you know, at least 2 hours of hundreds of people's lives are wasted. They got to doing little small layerings for the cops. You weren't convinced at the fuck, at least that was promised, or at least it was always insinuated at, but it was never directly clarified. And the cops are always gaslighting and always lying. So you don't know which things are true. And like, how badly is someone getting hurt? What does that mean? Did they have to stand there for an hour? And they're literally just like, man, dude, I'm trying to smoke crack right now. Or like, you know, if you don't do this, somebody else has to step up, or we're sending this dude to jail because we're serious about this crime. No, they're not. Not the wing of the cops that I'm talking about. The separate building. The building in which they fucking drink. The building where they're probably 3rd and 4th salary. Like, you know, obviously they got it get funded. You know, they got cameras. This phone has a thin camera of some kind over the screen, is what I'm thinking. I've seen images in it. I've probably done it once or twice before I really confirmed that it's the truth. Maybe even forgot about it, because like, who gives a shit? I know it's like whatever, but things that don't make sense. So you can see through your camera screen, basically. You don't need a camera. Your mind says, that was a big deal. Facebook with a thing on the camera. I know technology changes. I can't find anything about it on the internet. Expert sources are like, no, I bet you that's impossible. But it's all my car here. I've pulled my window down. I've seen a clear image of a man coming to me making a face. And as I pull the window down, he disappears. And it was completely realistic. The holographic shit I have is, you can't see it obviously. You already seen this, but you can't see it obviously. It's invisible. I could scratch it, couldn't. I'm not gonna scratch this. I start scratching things, but it's like nothing's visible. I've been in an apartment or in a motel, and there's like porn all over the walls, and it's one of those moments where like, okay, decision time. What do we think or feel about this? Fuck you. This is impossible. I don't remember if I was like, are you filming me? Or like, well, I don't fucking care. That's when I met the great Will Smith. Slapped fucking Chris Rock, got on the greatest fucking show on earth. Watching me negate every possibility to kind of do it as maybe at a kid power trip, and also as a kind of humiliation. You're so fucked that the United States government has decided to humiliate you in such a way where we are actually telling you we are going to surveil you in your home with the agreement of everyone. You are such a problem. And I'm not talking about outs. You couldn't even, there was an instance where you couldn't even see the stuff. It was just like, just stupid decision. Except the cops. I guess. Because they made the website, they said. Probably celebrities, watching shit paraded. I think I've had a bunch of celebrities know who I am. And they get included. That's been insinuated. A lot of the times it's very briefly, like at the tail end of a really bad drug spin. Like this hotel room. The film is on. I'm like, is that porn? But I'm like, I can't see straight. And it's like vague, like you said. And then there are other things. They can use lasers. They go into your eye where you could start seeing images. You're like, is that a laser? It's got to be a laser. And about the sex stuff, it's like, too bad. Maybe I'm a fucking freak. But they're still, what do they want to be so fucking gay for if they're that fucking gay? I mean, damn. You planned it like fucking jigsaw that, no matter what happens, today, you designed the trap yesterday. No matter what either one of us do, I'm poking my dick in your eye. Like, if I take my fucking pants off. And then I'm going to fall down the stairs, and I'm going to hit every other cop in the station on the way down. And then my dick's going to land in the chief's fucking throat. Like, say, what do you mean? Like, you're flipping the fuck. I'm confused. Let's just go, just to get this out of the way. Not out of the way, but don't stop thinking about it. It doesn't matter. Shit, I can't see that. I'm gay as fucking gay as can be. And it was this Sue King from the beginning. Like, whatever, okay. You just start, I have these experiences where it's like, this is happening and this isn't happening. Did that celebrity just say something to me on the TV once? Am I having paranoid thoughts where it looks like this is an active TV show? Of course it's not. I'm sounding because I know that it is, but of course it's not. Like, you step away from it for a second, there was a split second, and kind of maybe some faces that looked like they were looking at me, but also I'm high as fuck, can't see faces, and that's my cop, the bad one, real bad one. Calm down. She just loves to get soft on it. I wasn't strong enough. I let Tony keep calling me a bitch, or I let her do it, swarm me, which ultimately, I'm not sure I would have really been able to get out of it. It's just kind of a matter of degree. Sincerely, like, and realistically. But yeah, things like the first rehab I got through, I was like, you know what? I got a day off, my mom's coming, and I'm like, I'm gonna get some bench tricks. And I'm like, I'm just gonna chill out, play games, maybe fucking jack out of it. The rehab was like, I can experience, like, hey, this is fucking real life. The rehab coached us, like, we will absolutely not let the cops in here. Period. It's illegal. Absolutely not. I get the very strong impression they were all house came in, and they were all kind of told how they could pitch in to this mad scheme of theirs. I did jack off in the restroom, and again, I want to point out, I don't consider this an act of villainy. And if the dude stuck his face in my cock, I don't feel like, I'm solely to blame. Or if any conclusions can be made between us, agreements, perhaps, hey, this is the bigger share of that misfortune, if you like, if he's just continuing and trying to do it in a sly way. There might have been a lot of gay dudes, I don't know, it might have been in some way sexual, I have no idea. Maybe just for fun. But yeah, there's a video again. This was at another hotel. I don't know how I get back to these places. I don't remember being there. I don't feel like I have a really strong memory problem. But I have been forgetting things, I think, a little bit more lately. I'm close to on 40. But this hotel has like porn stars and shit in between this kind of marbling. Like, it's all up on the walls, and it's very slim. It's on the floor. Turn the lights on, it's gone. Turn off the heater. That's weird. I'm spinning out. This is a god hallucination. I also know that this is possible. I don't really remember what I thought about that. Nothing really knocks my socks off. It's like something to contemplate. It sort of like a dim, vaguely interested way. Until I just, like, okay, well, I guess we'll try to fucking pull ourselves off the floor and walk into the next kind of fucking bullshit, like loaded nightmare sandwich. But anyway, what do you call it? Where was I going with that? But that's just, technology. They'll cover the whole room in a camera with wallpaper, and you'll never know. Not even like tiny cameras. It's like what the fuck? What? But yeah, so, and again, I'm not sure how many times I've seen images in my screen, or if, like, and I'm not debating, like, oh, how many times did I know? Because that was a big, like, guilt-driven part by the people that were sexually stalking me. Like, how dare you fuck me again? I can't believe it. I'm like, for oh my God, we have to do this. We have to just sit there and, like, the chief is making, and you go through that whole period, whatever the fuck that is. Of course. So, and so, you know, if you're wondering why I'm so stupid, I'm going to throw something at you here. A grown man is not going to tell me it's made itself his job, this grown man, that he's going to put his hands in my pants, metaphorically, and just make sure, because he wants to, that I'm not doing that ever again. Which is what has been made very explicit now. It's kind of a permanent feature of my life here, or maybe abroad. Technology, holograms, later eye that create visions. Oh, in my car somewhere, I don't know how they do this. That could be, it's not spinning out, but I have a little snowman on the visor, and it turns into like a kind of 80s electric, like moving one. Only when I'm super high, and I very dimly, and it like makes faces, and it's well designed, and it's like, I believe I was spinning out, but that shit's just real. I know that shit's real. I know my car is full of cameras. If I got a new one, it'd be full of 10 times more cameras. I know that the moment I got this phone, like, it was just retroed out so that, you know, I could get fucked with this shit. So I don't know. It's getting that much more about technology. I can't remember the programs they showed me when I was younger, like about stuff. I don't know, technology. Stop. I don't know what happened again. Oh, fuck. So how long have I listened to this? Okay, so for 2:06, I mean, that's a good place to, maybe we'll jump onto something later and figure out what the fuck I'm talking about. But here's the idea. I'm looking to spin out. I'm a great drunk driver. The cops have only encouraged me to do so. Even groomed me to believe it's okay. I know it's stupid, but they're like, we're just kind of interested in the man. And it's a special you think because we're in a program and they deal with, you know, but we're not going to condone it. Never got a DV. Just straight, like drinking and driving all over the fucking place. Like I could just be spinning all over the place. I'd probably not get arrested. 5 days, great at it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to crash and kill everybody. They don't give a fuck though. That's good enough for me. I mean, this is the real democracy. The cop said, we don't give a fuck. That's the law. Right. So we're going to go back and do the thing that everybody in the world is just like, are you fucking stupid? And yes, we are. And maybe I'll just catch it on camera, back to this. It'll make sense to somebody. They'll be like, okay. Like, I won't believe the shit I'm seeing. And maybe, like, because I like that guy, you're fine. If it gets worse, what? Constant harassment all day, we've done that. And it'll kind of peter out and come back, and peter out and come back, and that's will be what it is if it's violence. I'm not sure how I'll feel about that. Maybe I'll enjoy it. What does fear feel like these days? I'm gonna stop now, and maybe, possibly everybody's in there random thought, and they just gotta sit there until I'm done. That was something that showcased me blatantly real, and it's all the little things they're hinted at, and then it's kind of made apparent just this last week. So this is like how girl. This was a friend from high school, and they're gonna sing until you stop. And it's like a demonstration for the first time that, and there might have been one or another one definitively, that these are just like random people. I don't know, shit like that. But if they're like on the employee list, which was originally apparently like they're just pieces of shit that'll fuck with you. Like in any case. So, but I'm gonna go find out the sorry piece of shit who I don't know what that's about and what happens. Maybe thousands of people have to sit there and just kind of like they're getting attention. Boo fucking who. Cops. I'm selling my nutsack photos to fucking the Clintons, so you know, and you only got to take the attention because they already knew. And you get a free pass. Some of you got a free pass. They just found out. And I don't fucking know. Maybe they're all profiting and stuff. Who knows? And, I don't know. Maybe we'll crescendos. And some will happen. And like 10 hoods will come together and just like stab me in the streets after a big battle. And it'll be cool at least. And funny because